Cowboys Nation, buckle up because today's video is about something that has the entire football world buzzing, the kind of moment that sends shockwaves through social media, locker rooms, and even the national sports talk shows that pretend they don't keep an eye on Dallas, but always do when something big drops. And this right here, this moment we're talking about, feels like one of those, hey, everything just changed moments that Cowboys fans cling to with both excitement and pride because things like this happen in Dallas. They don't happen quietly. They don't slip through the cracks. They don't get brushed aside like a routine roster update. No, they arrive with fireworks, noise, reaction, speculation, hype, possibilities, and that signature Texas energy that makes ordinary news feel like the beginning of something special. And this signing, this new addition, this explosive presence named Dameon Pierce is exactly the kind of storyline that Cowboys content creators, fans, and analysts feast on because the way it's being talked about, the way players are reacting, the way people around the facility are describing his impact, the way early practice reports are painting the scene, it all points toward one thing: Dallas might have stumbled onto one of the most unexpected momentum shifts of the entire offseason. And I'm telling you, you do not want to underestimate what a moment like this can do for a team that's been hovering around greatness, scratching at the surface, waiting for that spark that lights up everything and raises the competitive temperature inside the building. Think about where the Cowboys have been. The frustration of coming up short, the pressure placed on the shoulders of star players, the constant microscope hovering over the coaching staff, the criticisms from every network, every podcast, every barbershop, every couch analyst who claims to know exactly what Dallas needs, but never seems to agree on anything except that the Cowboys need more dogs, more hustle, more intensity, more players with that relentless, uncoachable motor that keeps a defense nigh alive even when the stars are double-teamed, or when the momentum is slipping, or when you just need a spark. Well, guess what? Because the arrival of Dameon Pierce feels like the Cowboys went shopping not for a brand name, big contract headline grabber, but for a spark plug, a raw, hungry, versatile piece who shows up on day one already playing like he's trying to earn his life's work. And that is the kind of energy that spreads through a locker room faster than any memo from a coach, faster than any motivational speech, faster than any Instagram hype video. What makes this entire story even more wild is the way early reactions describe Pierce's first reps in Dallas. Like no hesitation, no warming up, just straight intensity the moment the whistle blew. And when a rookie or newcomer walks into a facility like that and immediately has teammates looking over, coaches raising eyebrows, veteran players nodding with that quiet, okay, this kid is for real smirk, you already know something special might be brewing, because Dallas is not an easy place to impress. This organization has seen generational talents, Pro Bowlers, Hall of Famers, and stars who change the identity of entire eras. So for someone new to arrive and instantly create chatter is genuinely rare. And let's talk about this chatter, because it's not just fans commenting on short clips. It's not just local reporters trying to fill column space. It's actual players reacting: Micah Parsons dropping likes, defensive guys reposting clips, teammates talking openly about the kid's speed, his agility, his motor, his ability to stay locked in on a play even after it's collapsed, his refusal to give up on a rep. And that's the kind of reputation you only earn by being undeniable, not by being hyped, not by being a familiar name, not by being a social media star, but by showing up in real time and turning heads because your effort demands attention. What makes Dameon Pierce particularly interesting in this story is his versatility, the way he can shift across multiple roles, the way coaches can plug him into different positions depending on the alignment, the package, the down and distance. And that flexibility is gold in today's NFL, where defenses need to adjust on the fly and throw unexpected looks at offenses that are more complex and more explosive than ever. And when you pair that with his raw explosiveness, his acceleration, his stubborn competitiveness, it's easy to understand why the buzz around his arrival hit maximum volume so quickly. Think about the Cowboys' defense for a moment. They already have elite athleticism in key positions. They already have speed, aggression, discipline, and now they possibly add someone whose intensity level forces the entire unit to raise theirs even higher. Iron sharpens iron, and the Cowboys have thrived in the past when a young, hungry player enters camp and forces veterans to look in the mirror and say, "All right, I've got to step it up." And the fans? Oh, kaum benexpressing. They express then the enthusiasm was. Well, let's pretend this here. When some things action. Well, let's pretend when they something reaction. They felt genuine, organic, electric, because Cowboys fans know exactly what the team has been missing, and they can smell effort, hunger, and potential like wolves in the night. And naturally, once the fan base goes crazy, the sports media world follows right behind, breaking down the signing, discussing what it could mean, debating his ceiling, questioning how he fits, and even though no one is crowning him a guaranteed star or a guaranteed scarer, the fact that national platforms are even entertaining the possibility that he could earn a legitimate role so early in the process speaks volumes about how this story is being perceived. There's something contagious about the way people talk about him, not in a "here comes a savior" way, but in that far more powerful "here comes someone who might actually change the way this defense practices, rotates, and elevates itself" way. And those are the guys who make a difference long term, especially in crucial December and January football, when fatigue becomes a factor, and the teams with the freshest and deepest rotations tend to outlast the ones leaning too heavily on a small core of players. And that's the hidden beauty of this move. It gives Dallas another piece for the chessboard, another option for stunts, blitzes, disguised pressures, and matchup exploitation. And when you have a defensive coordinator who loves creativity and versatility, adding someone like Pierce is like adding a new instrument to a band. You hear the same song, but suddenly the rhythm changes, the tone changes, the dynamics change, and defenses become harder to predict, harder to block, harder to read at the line of scrimmage. The psychological effect is real too, when an entire locker room sees a newcomer working like his life depends on it, fighting for every rep, attacking every drill like he hasn't eaten in days. It forces everyone else to respond, and teams that respond collectively are the ones that evolve, mature, and peak at the right time. Now here's the thing about Dallas. Expectations are always sky high, critics are always loud, and pressure is always present. But what keeps this franchise competitive year after year is that internal fire that emerges whenever a new energy source enters the building. And if Dameon Pierce truly is that spark, if he truly is that unexpected jolt of adrenaline that energizes the front seven and raises the standard of practice intensity, then this might be much bigger than a signing. This could be a culture moment. And I think that's why fans are excited, why players are excited, why analysts are paying attention, not because of hype, not because of gimmicks, but because every year there's one player who shows up and instantly makes the team feel different. Sometimes it's a first-round pick. Sometimes it's a veteran. Sometimes, like right now, it's someone who wasn't expected to shake the ground, but arrives with so much raw drive that he shakes it anyway. Picture the Cowboys' defense a few months from now, rotating high-energy guys, stacking stops, overwhelming offensive lines with speed and relentlessness, and every time Pierce enters the formation, the commentators saying, "Here he comes, another burst of fresh legs, another spark, another problem for the offense." And that kind of presence is something Dallas has needed for years. And while no one knows exactly how far he'll rise, how big his role will become, or how fast he'll climb the depth chart. The most exciting part is that the door is wide open. The opportunity is real. The coaches are watching closely, the teammates have taken notice, and the fans can feel the momentum building like a storm rolling over the horizon. That's why people are saying this is one of the most intriguing and energizing developments of the offseason. Not because it guarantees championships, not because it changes the entire NFL landscape overnight, but because it injects Dallas with something priceless: hope, hunger, and potential. Backed by effort, and Cowboys Nation knows better than anyone that effort is the one trait that can turn an unknown name into a future star. And as we close this out, let me say this: if Dameon Pierce continues on this trajectory, if he keeps stacking reps, turning heads, earning respect, and bringing that wildfire energy into every practice, then the Cowboys might have just found the kind of player who doesn't just join a roster, but elevates an entire environment. And when that happens, when the young guys rise, when the competition increases, when the culture tightens, that's when you start to see greatness brewing. And that's why as are saying it loud already, nobody's stopping the Cowboys.